Hi all, welcome back to the third part video of induction motor protection. So before seeing the protection of large induction motor, we'll have some comments on what about small induction motor protection. Low voltage induction motor with a capacity of a few tens of HP can be termed as small motors. And we have also seen that abnormalities and faults give rise to high stator and rotor currents. So if there is high current, then obviously there will be a heat generated up, and that heat withstanding capacity is always dependent on the class of insulation used. So hence the protection against overloads and short circuit will be much more enough for small motors. So against short circuit and overloads, the protection is enough, means we don't need protection against abnormalities, different abnormalities which we have already seen, like unbalanced current, reversed phase sequence, under voltage, stalling, and so on. Why is because it's economically not feasible, means economically you cannot justify because it will become too costly. Motor might be not much expensive, but its protection might be too expensive. So because of that, we don't go for different fault protections. Short circuit and overloads is more than enough. So for that, fuse and thermal relays are sufficient. But for large induction motors, which are medium voltage 3-phase induction motor, which are used in industries, they require complex protective arrangements, and these complex protective arrangements may give additional offers or options such as circuit breaker condition monitoring, which is an aid to the maintenance. So now we'll see thermal overload protection. We'll see different protections against under voltage, stalling, reverse phase sequence, the things which we have studied. So first one is thermal overload protection. So we have already discussed that every induction motor has a certain time limit during which it can withstand a given overload. Means before it gets heated up to its insulation limit or thermal handling capability of an insulation, there is some time. Means to catch up the highest temperature what insulation can withstand, it has some time. So before it reaches, that is the motor reaches that time, it has to be isolated from the power supply, and to do this we have to use the relays. None of the overcurrent relays can match or coordinate with the thermal withstanding characteristics of a motor, and disconnecting the motor much in advance from a given time limit is undesirable. Your motor has some capability still to withstand the temperature, and as I said, there are no overcurrent relays which coordinate with the characteristics of thermal characteristics of motor. So we use a thermal relay which has similar characteristics as of induction motor against the temperature versus current. So thermal relays having different time constants are available in the market. So similar to thermal characteristics of a motor, the thermal relay also gives two characteristics curves. One is hot curve and another is cold curve, which we have already discussed. So that is shown in the figure 11.6. So you can see here, this is the characteristics of a motor in cold condition, this is the characteristics of a motor in hot condition, and the lines 3 and 4 are the thermal relay characteristics during cold condition and hot condition. So you can see why it is so. So this exact curve matching can be actually pre-ordered to the manufacturer, and you can obtain the characteristics of a thermal relay, or they are also available in the market with settings given on it. So this is the starting characteristics of a relay. So you should never have this curve and this curve overlapping. Why it is so, we'll see in coming slide. Motor, and this is for thermal relay. This is also for thermal relay. This curve 3 and 4 are drawn in terms of CT primary currents as the relay is fed through the CT. The ordinates of curves 3 and 4 give the time of operation of thermal relay for a given CT primary current, and that primary current is in terms of multiples of rated current of the motor. And while selecting the thermal relay for a thermal overload of an induction motor, it is to be assured that the relay shall not operate when the motor is starting. So when the motor is starting, okay, this curve, this relay should not operate. So hence, as I said, it should not overlap. If it overlaps, then the relay will operate during the starting condition only, and hence your motor may not start up. And that happens when your motor is initially running with a heavy load, or when the load inertia of a load is too high. You are running a motor with a high inertia load, then this problem may occur. So because of that, you choose a hot characteristics of a thermal relay bit above than that, which also leads to unhealthy start. So to avoid this, we are not using thermal relay here. To avoid early tripping of thermal relay because of high inertia load, in that case the microprocessor or DSP based is the best relay could be used for induction motor during starting in hot condition. That problems comes only when you are starting the motor in hot condition, means you have already run the motor and you have stopped for some time, but still the motor is already heated up, and you are starting the motor with some temperature in it and with a heavy load. In that case, you cannot use your conventional thermal relay. You will have to go for MUP or that is DSP based induction motor protection. Now we will see an example. So this example is for thermal overload protection. The same example is also used for explaining short circuit protection of a relay, negative phase sequence protection of a relay, and protection against stalling. So this is a case study. You can call it as a case study or an example. Now in this example, we'll study or we'll try to understand how to set a thermal relay, means its current and its time, other aspects of a current relay, how to do the settings of it. So the thermal relay has the following settings. Time constant. Generally relays with a fixed time constants are available in market. However, a few curves, normally 3 to 5 curves having a different time constant is offered by manufacturer for a certain relay with certain versions. So temperature, some relay manufacturers give an adjustment of temperature because the same relay will be operating in different environment conditions. So adjustment in terms of temperature rise is normally given. And current adjustment, this is normally in terms of percentage of rated current of the relay. So we'll try to see what is the current adjustment or the current setting has to be done for the induction motor given with the following data. So rating of an induction motor is 1200 kilowatt and its rated current is 132 ampere. It is of 6.6 kV, and accelerating time, that is from no load to full load, it takes 5.5 seconds to come to reach the rated speed and rated current. Now the thermal withstanding characteristics of motor 1 and 2 is already been shown here. So these are the curves of hot and cold of the induction motor, what is been taken in this example. And as it's discussed here, you cannot select a motor starting characteristics which matches or coincides with the hot curve of the relay. So this is the characteristics of a relay, cold curve and hot curve. So it was, as it was explained earlier, you cannot have a motor characteristics coinciding with it. If so, then motor will not run or start at hot condition, so it will be tripped by the relay. For that reason you go for advanced, that is DSP and microprocessor based relay. Now coming back to the example, we have CT ratio of 150/1, that is primary current is 150, secondary current is 1 ampere of the current transformer, and the relay, since it is connected to the secondary of the CT, so secondary of CT current is rated 1 ampere, so relay is also rated as 1 ampere. Then setting range is somewhere set between 70 to 130% of 1 ampere, that is 0.7 ampere to 1.3 ampere, and pickup is generally more than 100%. Why it is so is because you have a curve something like this, just now what we saw, relay, and this is of a motor. So since we are dividing this pickup factor, so we will get lesser than that. Okay, so since it is a dividing, pickup factor is a dividing factor, so we get the curve, the point lesser than the current rating of a induction motor. Now we'll see setting of it. So rated current of induction motor is 132 ampere, which we have seen. So it's a secondary equivalent because primary is 150 and secondary is 1 ampere. So if you consider the secondary equivalent, we get it as 132 by 150, which is 0.88. Now as it was said, the allowing the overloaded can be done up to 110% of this current, and because of that we are multiplying 0.88 with 1.1. 101% means if you have 1 ampere, you can allow the motor to, or the relay to operate till 1.1 ampere. But right now according to the ratio, since it is not operated at 150 ampere, it is operated at 132 ampere, it is been reduced to 0.88. And as I said, the relay pickups at 105%, so it is a dividing factor, so it is divided by 1.05, so we get this answer. So point somewhere near to 0.9, therefore 90% of 1 ampere setting is been selected. So after drawing the thermal withstand characteristic and starting characteristics of induction motor, a suitable time constant of a relay can be selected by drawing its characteristics on the same graph with a similar scale. So it is shown in figure 11.6 already here. Now we will see short circuit protection. So this protection is required during two possible abnormal condition of the motor, that is, first is electric short circuit due to phase faults. Okay, this happens because of insulation failure. So if there is a large current and due to which there is a large heat produced in the induction motor, then the insulation may break down, and because of breakdown of insulation, the two conductors may get short circuited. So that we are referring to it as electric short circuit. And another is blocking of rotor. So the rotor does not start rotating because of heavy loads. This is one reason, and it may be due to bearing failure or gear drive jamming. So any of the three reasons may cause blocking of the rotor. So as we know, if the rotor is not rotating, it means back EMF is not present, and I is equal to, it becomes I is equal to V minus EB by Z. So if this part becomes very less because of rotor not rotating, then the value V by Z, Z is a constant, so this negative term, if it is not present, if EB is 0, then you have a very high current. So we have to protect against this high current. It may be during starting, so that's why the reason at the starting of the induction motor it draws high current, and another is due to electric short circuit. And electric short circuit happens because of insulation failure. If the motor is persistently overloaded, then it may heat up and insulation failure may happen and short circuit can occur. Now in this both conditions, the current drawn by the motor will be very high and has to be isolated from the power supply, or else what happens, due to this high current which is under the magnetic field, so electrodynamic forces may be caused and it may deshape or destruct the motor, and this has to be done within 3 cycles of the maximum limit. So if this is the current and it has reached very high magnitude, then within 3 cycles you will have to isolate the motor from the power supply, otherwise it may damage the whole construction of the induction motor. Now an instantaneous overcurrent relay is used for protecting conditions, the two conditions which we have seen now, short circuit condition and blocking condition. So instantaneous current overcurrent relay, what it works basically on the principle of, if the current is too high, then it just see whether the setting or the current is higher than this set value, then it will simply operate. So here pickup setting a value of current at 75% of the rated voltage. So if the relay is set for 4 to 20 times of the rated current, then at 75% of the rated voltage, the starting current, see it is STM, starting current of induction motor, is always 6 times the rated current. And since it's set at 75% of the rated voltage, 0.75 is divided to it and we get this answer. Now you may get a question why we are dividing it by 0.75. Now for example, just for example, I'm taking this corollary, so or analogous, something like that. So if you have 7.5 ampere for 7.5 volts and 10 ampere for 10 volts, then actually we are taking this current and predicting 10 ampere. The current is proportionally increasing as the voltage is increasing. So based on Ohm's law, V is equal to IR, current is proportional to voltage. Now we are taking a certain current because we don't want to take the current during short circuit which will be too high, so we are limiting to the current of 75%, and because the relay cannot handle too high current, so because of that we are limiting, so hence we are taking a 75% of the rated voltage and doing the calculation. We have got starting current of an induction motor, and this is a primary current. Secondary current equivalent, we get it by dividing 150 because the CT ratio is 150 by 1 ampere. So we get this. So it is almost equal to 750% of 1 ampere. So it means what? The relay setting you are setting in terms of percentage, and the rating of the relay is 1 ampere. Okay, and if the relay senses a current beyond 7.5 ampere, then it will give an signal to the circuit breaker. So the relay acts now as a instantaneous current relay or instantaneous overcurrent relay, and once it senses 7.5 ampere, it gives a braking signal to the circuit breaker. Hence a short circuit current as high as 7.5 in the secondary is being tripped. Now we'll see negative phase sequence protection. So we already know that negative phase sequence currents are generated for single phasing, voltage unbalance and reversed phase sequences, and these negative phase sequences currents heat up the rotor abnormally and hence a separate protective arrangement is required to protect the induction motor against such abnormalities. Now in actual field practice there are two strategies. For negative phase sequence protection. One is using definite time over current relay, which actually responds to the negative phase sequence current of stator. Now what is definite time over current relay is, so it waits for a certain time and then takes the tripping decision. Why it is required is because during starting the current will be 50 to 20 times of the rated current, and due to problems like CT saturation, CT will not reflect the exact current to the secondary because of saturation effect. Core gets saturated, hence primary current will not be reflected in secondary, because of which the relay which is connected in secondary will not get the correct information, and hence the relay is made to wait for 4 to 8 cycles. And if the 50% of the starting current or the high current, if it sustains for these 4 to 8 cycles, then a time definite time over current relay will take the tripping decision, and the setting is generally 2 to 6 times the rated current. So since it is taking 50%, so starting current is 6 times into the rated current divided by 50%, we'll get this answer. And 396 by 150, if you do, you'll get almost 2.64 ampere, so which is nearly 250%. So 250% is set in the relay, because always in relay the setting is in terms of percentage of the current. Now another characteristic is I square T. I12 is nothing but negative phase sequence, and which is a constant, and this is best practice because we already have a relay with the inverse time characteristics. Okay, current versus time is inverse, so here also current is square nature and they matches, and since it matches, here the setting is from 20 to 80% of the relay. But and in both the cases, in these two both strategies, the input signal which has negative phase sequence current is filtered out and then given to the these two strategy relay, that is I square T and definite time over current relay. Protection against stalling. So here definite time over current relay is used. Why we are using definite time? See, definite time over current relay will operate after certain time. Why it is so? Because since there is no space here to write, I'll be using next slide, but I'm explaining for the previous slide which is been appearing here. So we have already seen torque slip characteristics, which is something like this. So this is the safe region or stable region, and this is unstable region. So we have also seen this point A dash B. Okay, so stalling happens here in this region. So sometimes what happens, stalling, if it is within the permissible region, for example, if the overloading is not sustained for a longer time, the motor will come to synchronism after some time. So we'll have to wait for the motor to come to synchronism, and that waiting period is taken from 6 to 60 seconds. So your time delay is somewhere between this range, and a relay cannot be made operate below this, because at the starting of the induction motor the current drawn is too high, so relay cannot be made to operate at that region, because at starting the current will be very high. Since at starting of the induction motor it takes too high current, we cannot assume it as a fault, so therefore relay is not made to operate at that time. So relay will have to wait for at least 5.5 seconds. So we cannot wait for too long time also, so therefore we take 10 seconds as a definite time for this overcurrent relay to operate. And why it is overcurrent? Because see, the relay used is definite time overcurrent relay. Why it is overcurrent? Because during the stalling the speed is reduced. If the speed is reduced, as it is already been discussed, the current will be too high, so hence this relay is used. And when the speed is reduced, stalling can be sensed only based on the speed. If speed is reduced, then there will be a speed sensor that will operate the speed relay also, and this overcurrent relay will have to operate. So this two has to be simultaneously operated. If both matches, that is speed is reduced as well as current is increased, it means there is a stalling. And for this both to operate in a cooperative manner, then there is a centrifugal switch is used to implement this. So coming to relay settings, for deciding the relay settings of stalling relay, there are some additional data which are required, that is hot condition and cold condition. These are the stalling safe stalling time. Means we may expect the motor to come to synchronism, that is back to the synchronism. So we have one more thing called as locked rotor relay, that is stalling. So as explained, it is somewhere between 6 to 60 seconds, and current here we are taking, that is 150% to 600%, that is 1.5 times 1.5 times to 6 times of the rated current, which is 1 ampere. So here the thumb rule, okay, in general practice means it is a thumb rule. So here the thumb rule is to set the current equal to 1/3 of the starting current. So the starting current is 796, so 1/3 of which is 264. And if you convert this to secondary by dividing 264 with 150 ampere, we will get 1.76, which is almost 175%, which is well within this range. Now we will also see the induction motor protection scheme. So this is the power supply, and this is the main circuit breaker, okay, that is motor circuit breaker. And here we have alarm circuit and earth fault protection, earth fault relay. And earth fault relay, how it is been implemented is something like this. Suppose this is 3-phase of a motor. I have shown instead of inductor I have shown resistance, okay, that's fine. So earth fault means this neutral must be given through a relay to the ground. And earth fault means what? For example, when it is unbalanced, suppose here you have 10 ampere, I am taking just an example, and here you have something called as 6 ampere, and here you have something called as say 7 ampere. Actually these two are incoming. See, always you know how the current flows, okay, outgoing current equal to incoming current in a node. So it has to be actually 5 ampere, both these two phases has to be 5 ampere, so that in balanced condition 5 plus 5 is 10 coming out here. But due to unbalanced current, I have taken 6 and 7 to show it that it is not 5. So that difference current, which is 2 here and 1 here, 3 current will flow here. So when there is difference of flow through the neutral, the relay will sense this difference current, and that is what it makes to operate a earth fault relay. Now we have a differential relay here. How this operates is, so This 87 is a differential relay for R phase, Y phase and B phase separate. See, actually whatever we have talked about relays is, since we had taken single line diagram, we were considering one relay, but for each phase separate relays are always there. So how differential relay works is, suppose there is a fault inside the rotor or stator, the high current has to flow here, and maybe inside or outside, any direction, depends, it depends. So if this high current is entering, the sudden change of current will not be allowed by the inductor. Therefore happens is, during normal condition the current would have been like this. Okay, the incoming current is equal to outgoing current during normal operation, but there is a fault here. Since there is a fault here, what happens is, the current sensed by this relay, input side relay, and the output side relay is different. Sorry, I have referred it as a relay. Actually it is a primary of the CT and secondary of the CT on either side of the rotor winding, or as a stator winding. Since the current is different, the difference current will flow through the relay. That relay will operate based on the difference. Okay, so hence it is called as differential relay. And we have thermal overload relay here, and instantaneous relay, phase unbalanced relay, all relays, many different types of relays are being implemented here. So since most of the concepts are being explained through this diagram, the next few concepts like earth fault protection and differential protection, overload alarm, under voltage protection is been already explained through the concepts. So I hope those are simple, you can go through on your own. So this is the end of the induction motor protection. Thank you.